on what a before scenario would look like. Either if you're working your wholesale deals by yourself, or maybe you're JBing, or perhaps you're on a team, and what that would have looked like manually versus bringing your deal to the AI attorney interface. So I'm going to let Miguelina take it from here. She's going to demonstrate a particular scenario. She's going to explain that. And then we're going to talk a little bit back and forth. She's going to explain what she would have been doing manually versus what she's experiencing now. Go for it, Miguelina. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Tracy. Hi, everybody. Okay, so what I have, I identify a deal on listing, and I ran the numbers. So what I have to do is create a contract that will protect me, and that I can send to the seller and have a good shot at getting him to sign. So this one is when I first go in to the interface, I have to put in a message here to ask the AI generator about creating a contract for me. So
what state are you in on this property?
This one is in Alabama.
Okay, cool.
Purchase and sell contract for property at, okay, and here is my address.
Okay. So that's the starting point that you would have done originally?
Yes, I want to try that first. If I was creating this, I would start with like a template, and then little by little, I would fill it out. But this tells me, okay, let's see. Purchase and sell agreement for the property. So I don't have a seller name, buyer name. Okay, so it's asking me to give this information: the purchase price, the deposit, closing, condition of property, inspection. Okay, so it's giving me the notes on the bottom: agreed for purchase price, earnest money deposit, closing date, inspection period. Okay, so it's asking me for this information, so then I can go back and say, add the following to the contract. Purchase price. Sorry. Oh, wow, that's bad. Purchase price. Let me make sure I have this correct. Would be $218,000. What else? EMD. 10% of purchase price. Closing. Oh, did I just? Oh my God. Purchase price. Closing date. Let's say 30 days after today. Inspection period, 7 days. All right, let's see. Okay, so if I would have done this contract, I would have had to go back and take a look at all the stuff that I'm missing. I wouldn't. It would take me a lot longer to figure this out. So now it gives me, let's see. Now I have purchase price $218,000. EMD is 10% of the purchase price. Closing 30 days from today. Condition. Oh, I still have to add condition of property. And the title, where the title company, closing costs, shall be responsible for all closing costs, possession, governing law, state of Alabama. Okay, so I need to add a specific date and the seller and buyer okay. Add closing date of October 24th, 2024. Buyer name. Crier. Okay, so let's see. Right now it gave me back my name, buyer name, purchase price, EMD, closing, being sold as is, inspection, 7 days. I would have to add the title name, company name. The buyer is responsible for closing costs. Okay, so seller, I would put in the seller information and the date.
So it's cross-checking you, and it's cross-checking you.
Yes, it's checking me. Yeah, to tell me what's missing, what I'm still missing in here. Add date of September 24th, 2024 for date of agreement. Okay, so it added the date to be signed, governing law. Okay. Okay, so I would have to add the seller information and the date of seller's signature. So this looks like it's good, but I feel like I'm missing something. What did I ask it? If I'm wholesaling. Tell me what I need to add to the contract if I am wholesaling. Let's see. I think there should be more. Okay. Okay. So it's telling me that for wholesaling, I need to have an assignment clause. Okay. Ooh, wow. Okay, so this gives me a lot of different options. Assignment clause that allows me to assign, and there's an example, disclosure, to let the seller know that my intent is to assign it. Non-refundable. Inspection period. Okay. Example clause. So closing date flexibility, no repairs. Sold as is. Okay. Wow. I wanted to add add these suggestions to the contract. Okay. Okay, let's see. EMD closing. Okay, extension of the closing day. Condition is being sold as is. Inspection 7 days. Assignment clears the assignment clause to another party without the seller's consent. Title company needs to go there. Closing costs. Possession limitation of liability. Okay, so this gives me protection. It says once the buyer assigns this agreement to a third party, the buyer shall not be liable for any claims, damages, or expenses. Governing law, Alabama, entire agreement, signatures, signature of seller. Okay. So right here I have a contract. Am I missing anything? Let me see. What else should I add to contract to protect myself if I can't close the contract? All right, let's see. Oh, there. Oh God, this is so exciting because look at this. Wow. Okay. Limitation of liability clause. Limit your liability in case of any claims arising from the contract. Oh, I didn't even know this was something that was useful. Unforeseen issues after closing. I would think, like, I would assume that after closing, I don't have any liability. Escape clause. This allows you to exit the contract if you're unable to find a buyer for the property. The buyer may terminate this agreement without penalty if the buyer is unable to find an assignee for the property by the closing date. Clear communication. Establish a procedure for communicating. Okay.
Has this ever been on any of your previous purchases?
No. That's why it's like, okay, let me just see. I like to see what I can, like, suggestions it gives me when I ask these questions. Look at this. Wow. Contingency, inspection, broaden it to include specific factors that will allow you to terminate the agreement. So you can actually identify, like, if you think that maybe there's a problem with, like, the roof or the foundation, you can actually put that in there. So it's like it gives you more protection in case you need to get out of the contract or cancel the contract.
How about a term for refundable EMD and also not activating title until you have the EMD in your possession?
Oh, yes. Okay. So add the following to contract. EMD, was it not due until
the last business day of the inspection period?
Yeah. Was there something else you said? Not due until the end of business days of inspection period.
Just to make sure that it's refundable and that you can, there's like unilateral cancellation clause.
Okay, let me add that. Let's see, where's the EMD? That the earnest money is not due until the end of the business day of inspection period. Okay, here it is. The earnest money deposit shall not be due until the end of the business day of the inspection period. Okay. Inspection, assignment. The title shall be conveyed. Okay, what else? Seller, date, closing.
Buyer may unilaterally cancel a contract during the inspection period is what we used to use. Also, you're not going to activate, initiate escrow opening of title until you have.
Buyer may unilaterally cancel the contract without penalty. And title. Did you say title or escrow?
You won't initiate title. In other words, they won't begin the process of looking for liens and all of those sorts of things until you have the EMD. So title's not going to open escrow. Now, these are things that we've discovered over time. Not everybody watching this, will maybe even know to ask those.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I like about this interface is it's intuitive and it's going to make recommendations. Mm-hmm. Let's also make sure this is compliant to Alabama, which I believe it said at the top.
Yeah, hold on. It says I think governing law shall be governed by and construed in accordance with the laws of the state of Alabama.
Perfect.
Okay, so we have the contract. Can cancel the contract without penalty. Cancellation. Prior to the deposit of the earnest money, if the buyer chooses to cancel, they must provide written notice to the seller. As is, inspection, assignment clause, closing cost, possession, limitation liability, governing law. Okay.
What was the important notes at the bottom?
Seller information.
Okay. Just
it's looking first like seller and date of signature, and then closing date extension. Specify a number of days for extension if needed. Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Date.
Okay, so while Miguelina is typing all these little details in, this is kind of just initiating your first contract. Once you have this, if you're marketing, let's say in Alabama, this can become your standard for your business. So now you have the framework. And then what you'll do moving forward is, depending on whatever deals you might have, you'll obviously substitute out the critical information that needs to change and the specifics that are relevant to the scenario based on what the seller or the agent and you have decided is agreeable. So you'll swap out those vital bits of information. And now what you'll have is a bona fide standard for your business.
Yeah, I just added, what is it, closing? Here, the buyer reserves the right to extend the closing date for an additional 7 days upon written notice to the seller. Okay, so it gives me, so the notes on the bottom, it just says I need to fill in the seller information and then the date of seller's signature. So right here, this is all the information that would go in the contract.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now what you have is a full-on purchase and sale agreement. We did it in 10 minutes, the very first one you've done.
Yeah.
But moving forward, You can now take this document, copy it, put it in your Google Drive or wherever
Mm-hmm.
you're going to keep your documents, and then copy and paste it back into the interface and just change out the details moving forward. So that's even like seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So 10 minutes to play around with the interface and figure it out.
Yeah.
And we've officially created the purchase and sale agreement for an Alabama property that you're going to sign as a wholesale deal. What did you think? What's your feedback? How did it compare to what maybe you would have drafted by yourself or using a template online?
I would have drafted a very simple contract. None of these protections would be in there because I didn't know about them.
And then send for processing.
Send for processing.
And we're going to get some clarity on once you purchase the interface, how that will all be set up. And we'll have more details on that shortly. But 10 minutes to check out drafting a purchase and sale agreement for a wholesale deal. Any final words, Miguelina, on how you feel moving forward with this contract versus something you might have done before?
Biting my teeth before because I just don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to have to owe anything or be sued. This was exciting because when I asked, it gave me all these options. I got so happy.
You didn't know you had options, right?
I didn't even know all this stuff was important.
Isn't that
Yeah.
thing? And it's specific to Alabama.
Yeah.
It might look slightly different, including the recommendations for another state, which you might have missed altogether, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's a good contract. It's it goes with the laws in Alabama. I've got protections for myself. Everything is very specific, very detailed. Yeah, and it was fast.
Perfect. Well, I hope that this was helpful for you all to see some of the functionality of the AI-powered attorney and how it can help you